Welcome to the Tech and Productivity Update for week 13 of 2026. And again, we've got a couple of new model drops, the big one being Gemini 3.1 Flash Live, which is the little brother of Gemini 3.1 Pro. What makes this model really good is that it's obviously cheaper to run, it's faster, and it's really built for agentic flows where you have an agent responding in real time to the user. It's obviously a multimodal model, so it's able to process images and audio using the same model. And that just makes it a lot easier and simple to set up agentic flows where you need to have the agent process audio, need to process images, and then respond pretty much in real time to the user. So a really nice model for those real-time agentic flows. The ARC-AGI 3 benchmark was finally released, and we've got the first results. And as you can see, they are pretty sad, but that's great because that means it's actually going to be useful for quite some time. So the first three models that we've got, and I believe actually one was added since I last checked this, we've got Gemini 3.1 Pro, Opus 4.6 with the max setting, and Grok 4.2 with beta reasoning. We also have GPT 5.4 high, and as you can see, the model scored ridiculously, though. The best result, I believe, was GPT 5.4 with the high setting, and it scored a whopping 0.3% score on ARC-AGI 3. The funniest result here was obviously Grok 4.2, which spent almost $4,000 in its testing, and it managed to score 0.0%. Great results. Basically, every other model was able to score at least something. Unfortunate for the Grok 4.2 model and xAI Labs. This benchmark was also ridiculously expensive to run, as you can see. Was 4.6 spent almost $9,000. GPT 4.5, $5,000. Gemini 3.1 Pro, $2,000. Just ridiculous spending for really just kind of ridiculous results. But still, it's a great benchmark, so we hope to see what the new models are able to do. Definitely a benchmark worth looking at over time as new models are dropped to see how well they're doing in the visual, spatial, reasoning space. Next up, Anthropic dropped some pretty interesting updates to Claude. The first one was that work tools, basically their form of integrations, now work in Claude. So things like Figma, Canva, Amplitude are now able to connect to Claude. And of course, because they now have this new feature where you can connect the mobile version of Claude to the desktop version of Claude, you can, of course, use that all on the mobile device as well. Another update came to Claude Code. So they added a new mode, which they call auto mode. Instead of having like the dangerously accept all the changes mode and also the ask me every single time you want to make changes mode, this is kind of in the middle, and it lets Claude Code decide whether it needs to get your permission to do a thing or not, which is kind of interesting, seems kind of risky, maybe a little bit better than just letting it automatically approve everything. This is supposed to be a happy medium between asking you every single time it needs your permission to do something kind of dangerous, and also automatically just doing all the changes without asking you whether it should or not. So we'll see how this pans out if we don't see more users on social media reporting that Claude Code accidentally wiped their project or their hard drive or things like that. We'll see if auto mode makes that a little bit less common or a little more common. In the productivity space, Obsidian added Headless Publish. So previously they had released a headless version of Sync, and that just means that you can now sync your vaults using their paid for sync functionality without opening the Obsidian application. You can just run it through the command line interface. So you could use agents, and you can set up scripts to do this automatic syncing of your vaults. What's new about this update is that it now supports Publish, which is another paid feature of the Obsidian application. Again, you don't have to actually open the Obsidian app to publish things from the vault into your personal blog or your domains or wherever you host the content. So this is a pretty cool update. If you use Obsidian to publish your personal blog or a company blog or anything like that, and you want to automate it somehow, now you don't have to go directly through the Obsidian app. You can use the command line interface to publish things from your vault without using the app. Next up, Google released the Lyria 3 Pro model, which is a music generation model, and it now goes up to 3 minutes. I've never personally used any of these music generation models. I think I might have played on Suno a little bit for like a couple of songs and found it kind of interesting, but didn't really mess with it anymore. But supposedly this new version is better at producing songs in other languages besides English, creating more cohesive tracks where things just kind of flow more naturally, things you would expect from a model that is focused just on creating music. And they've got a bunch of different interesting examples. I listened to some of these a while ago and they sound better. It's still obviously not the same as humans creating music, and it probably is never going to be. But in terms of creating background music, music for games, music for videos, just kind of background music, I think it's a great option. And so it's really nice to see them continue to upgrade their models. Definitely give Lyra 3 a try if you are interested at all in the AI music generation space. Next up, OpenAI pulls the plug on their Sora app. Maybe you got a chance to use it yourself, or you saw a bunch of these AI slop videos that were flooding social media when it first came out. People using copyright IP like Pikachu and Mario and Disney characters and all kinds of compromising situations. And they had that whole legal debacle where eventually Disney, I believe, signed some sort of an agreement so they could use their IP inside of the Sora models. I don't know if it was just in the Sora app or in their model generally. So we'll see what happens with that. Now that the app is dead, obviously the Sora models are still available and you can use them through their API, but the app is now dead. They were probably just burning a ridiculous amount of money letting people generate free videos, and they had no way to monetize it. So makes sense that they pulled the plug. So we'll see what happens. They might decide to roll it into their ChatGPT app or spin it off and do something else with it. We'll just have to wait and see. Next up, Apple announces Apple Business, which is sort of their version of Microsoft 365, not completely aimed at enterprise. This is more like for medium and small business. But if the company you work at or the company you own is already using Apple devices, this is going to be a great addition to just have everything centralized in one single hub. It combines mobile device management, business email, custom domain support, and app distribution across all your devices from one single hub. So that's just a nice addition if you are already in an Apple ecosystem and you wanted to use it for your business or at your company. Now you've got an Apple way to do it. Next up, Yahoo Mail actually launches an AI planner. So the thing that makes this special is it automatically extracts dates, tasks, and deadlines from your inbox and then pushes those into your calendar and your to-do list. And they launched this campaign featuring Cardi B because why not? So we'll see what happens if they decide to move more into the AI productivity management space. This is definitely an interesting move from Yahoo. So this appears to be part of their restructuring efforts after they were bought out to really focus on the things that made it useful and cut some of the fat. So some of their bigger properties like Yahoo News and Yahoo Sports and Yahoo Finance, I think, are some of the biggest earners for them. And now they're getting into the ad space even more. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do with this productivity AI approach and whether it's actually going to work out for them or that this is just going to be another item on their long list of attempts that just never really worked out. But if you happen to be one of the 3 people in the States that uses Yahoo, check that out. It's actually much bigger outside of the United States, especially Yahoo Mail and some of the other Yahoo properties. But we'll see what happens with this new foray into productivity and management. And lastly, something I hadn't even noticed myself, which is Google Docs got a Gemini-powered audio upgrade. Now, this is a little bit old. This actually came out on February 12th, but I had not seen it myself. So this is what it actually looks like. You open up any Google Doc, and in the menu bar, you click on Tools. There's this option here, Audio, and then Listen to this tab. So if you click on that, it'll actually generate, using AI, the audio track for the document. So you can just listen to it instead of reading it. Kind of nice, an interesting feature I had not noticed. If you are downloading documents that are maybe very long, you don't want to read them yourself, you can now have AI read them out to you. So that was your update for this week. Be sure to like and subscribe so you're always up to date with everything happening in the technology and productivity space. Till then, I'll see you in the next one.